They got some toenail clippers. Fuck. Turn on my dab rig here. The toke before we start.
Prime crime.
Her car's in the driveway. She's not answering her door. Her back door is wide open. So I don't know what's going on.
A murder, a disappearance, and a dismemberment.
This is really the case that never ends.
And the face at the center.
So we know that you're comfortable lying when it's appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah, but the instances, you're on the 160. Yo, let's go, dude. That's fucking huge.
Crime. Crime.
When's the last time you saw her?
That's fucking huge, man. Congratulations. Good for you, buddy. Take a toke to that. Did you get instances on Ascension? Bro, no, I haven't done insta kills on Ascension. No. I have not, to get sure. Every time I play that map and I get to around 100, I just get so bored I quit. I'm not gonna lie. Every time I play that map, I get so goddamn bored I just quit. It's a hard map to keep focused on, you know? Just forgive me. I'm addicted to this phone game, boys. I'm playing this, like, I'm just getting all my bonuses and shit. I'm just getting my bonuses and shit, boys. I'll be there soon, don't you worry. God damn, brother, I'm fucking these guys up right now. Holy. These kids just can't hang. Holy. Just murking them. My goodness. Fucking them up, baby. Holy shit, another level, bro. My god, we are fucking these guys up. So much XP. My god. So much XP. God damn, boy. They come 1 bill an hour. Keep it that way. Alright, let's rip a toke. Smoked up.
That's nice. It's very uncharacteristic for her to do this.
Talking to police about me.
3-year-old Ohio
Way.
Brother, I think I've watched like every fucking crime documentary you can on YouTube. Swear to God.
So we're here at Costco, and you can see we got all kinds of prime ribs here. These are all choice ribs. We've got primal cuts that are full. So if you're going to feed a mob, you've got that. But if you're picking these, you want to just look on the end here of this here, and you want to look at it, and you want to see, does it have the marbling? How big is the spinalis? How is the fat cap? And then you've got seasoned ones here that you really can't see as well because of the seasoning, but if you're just being lazy, it's a good way to go. But like this one here is one that I like, because it's got lots of intermuscular marbling, it's got a nice clean spinalis on it, it's got a decent fat cap. Another nice one.
Best one right
Marbling,
there.
A big spinalis on it, or cap. and it looks like it's got a nice cap of fat on it. So this is going to cook out really nicely.
That's a beautiful cut of beef right there. That's one I'd be picking. That fat fucking inside of that was just rendered down in the butter. Alright. I'm gonna find. We need to find something. Something to watch for like an hour. Something to watch for like an hour.
Aces. I mean, you can flip. If you got queens, I would never put an 11 bigs with. Oh my god, he jammed. And you got a aces. I mean, you can fold. Aces holds. Aces holds.
Ooh!
It is our pleasure to welcome you here for this special ceremony. This room often bears witness to important moments in the history of our nation. And with today's ceremony, you are becoming part of that history. C'est un plaisir de vous accueillir ici pour cette cérémonie spéciale. Cette salle est souvent le témoin d'un moment important dans l'histoire de notre nation. Et avec
This fucking country, bro, is going to shit. The Dark Knight Rises. How the Dark Knight fans. Sorry, The Dark Knight Rises. How the Dark Knight. That's crazy. 15 years ago, dude, is when that movie came out. The Dark Knight. Oh my god.
Russia started sending North Korean soldiers to the front. They have already suffered their first losses, Defense Intelligence of Ukraine reports. According to intelligence, Russia has begun to use the DPRK military in assault operations in the Kursk region. In particular, as part of the combined marine and airborne units of the Russian armed forces. The North Korean troops have already suffered their first sanitary and irreversible losses as a result of a successful fire attack by the Ukrainian Security and Defense Forces, the DIU informs. At one of the positions in the Kursk region, the North Korean military was covered by FPV drones. The enemy, including the Russians, lost more than 100 soldiers. Estimated losses of units manned by Russian and North Korean personnel as of December 14, 2024, amount to about
Fighting in 1940 or something?
200
Like,
soldiers, the intelligence summarized.
North Korea,
In addition,
bro. Holy shit, dude. Their tank looked like a fucking Range Rover, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's crazy. I haven't seen this one
Bend,
before.
Oregon, a tranquil city with a low crime rate. Campus security
Guaranteed.
guards are a reassuring presence for the college town's 10,000 students. But what happens when a friendly face turns out to be
Guaranteed haven't seen it. Tokes up.
a missing student, a desperate man, and a multi-state crime spree? This is the story of the disappearance of Kaylee Sawyer.
No, she kept screaming and I was talking to her forever.
Kaylee Sawyer had lived in the picturesque town of Bend, Oregon. all her life. She was from a large and blended family. When Kaylee was young, her parents separated and both went on to remarry. As a result, she was the oldest of 5 siblings and the shining light of family gatherings. She was also an enrolled member of the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe, South Dakota, the great-great-great-granddaughter of Chief Joseph Forebear. In 2016, at the age of 23, Kaylee was working as a dental assistant at Opry Dental. She had also re-enrolled at Central Oregon Community College and was living near campus with her boyfriend of 2 years, Cameron Reimhofer. Her parents could see her having a future with him, and that future looked bright. On July 23, 2016, Kaylee dressed up in a black dress and brown boots to attend a bachelorette party in downtown Bend. Her friends and boyfriend would later remember the green purse she had been carrying that night. When Kaylee headed out that hot summer night, no one could have predicted she would not return home. Several bars and a few drinks later, Kaylee's friend spotted her dancing with a man who was not her boyfriend. At 4 minutes past midnight, she contacted Cameron asking him to pick her up. When he arrived, they fought in the car. Cameron was worried about Kaylee's reckless behavior. The day before, she had texted her father saying she'd been busy trying to figure things out and that she was in a bit of a hole. The fight escalated, and when the couple arrived at their apartment at 12:14 a.m., Cameron suggested Kaylee take some time to cool off. He went upstairs to wait at their apartment while Kaylee took a walk, something she had done countless times before when things had gotten heated. It was a safe neighborhood. He had no reason to think she wouldn't be back a few minutes later, calmer and ready to talk things through. But by 12:24 a.m., Kaylee had not returned. Worried, Cameron went downstairs to look for her. She was not there, and at 12:30 he texted her asking, "Where are you? Please come home and talk to me." They argued over text for a while before he said, "Please don't do this to me. I apologize for being upset when I picked you up. I just drove up and down College Way really slow. I didn't see you, and I didn't know where else to go. Just come back." He was searching for her desperately now, but she did not want to talk to him. Her last message to him at 1 a.m. read, "Are you kidding? Because that's BS. Goodbye. Phone off." He replied, Kaylee, please. Cameron did not find Kaylee.
My boy
that
Sean
night,
dapped me
despite
up,
trawling
bud.
the roads
What are you
near the
saying?
couple's apartment. Eventually, he had to assume she was taking the night to cool off. Reluctantly heading home, he expected to hear from her in the morning. But the reconciliation he was desperately hoping for was destined never to happen. On the morning of July 24th, Cameron woke up to Kaylee's side of the bed still worryingly empty. At 9 a.m., he tried to call her, but she did not pick up. He went to her friend's house, hoping Kaylee had gone there to stay the night. Kaylee's car, a Subaru Impreza, was parked where she'd left it the day before, but Kaylee was not there. This was when Cameron decided to call Kaylee's parents. It was a Sunday, and Kaylee's father, Jamie, was in church when the call came in. But he picked up, telling his wife afterwards, Cam can't find Kaylee. There were no sightings of Kaylee all morning. Her phone kept going to voicemail, and even her mother, Julie, could not get hold of her, something highly unusual in the close-knit family. In the early afternoon, Cameron made the decision to call 911.
Dispatch, how can I help you?
Hi. I'm not sure if this is quite the right number to call. Last night I got home from the bars with my girlfriend. She got upset at me and ran off. And I chased her and wasn't able to find her, and I still haven't heard from her. Her phone's off. I called all her family and they haven't heard from her, so I'm wondering what you recommend I do.
We can put in a call and we can have officers or deputies look for her.
Okay.
Where was she last seen at?
College Way. Alpine Meadows apartment complex. It's like at the top of College Way. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Take out walking or something from this address? Like, she was mad?
Yeah, she was mad at me, so I walked inside and told her to come meet me in there when she's like, calm down. And then I went back out in 10 minutes and she was gone. And I called her a few times and she said she was walking down the street. And then I guess she said her phone was about to die. And then I couldn't get a hold of her after that. I haven't heard from her since.
Okay. Any idea where she would go, or?
I don't know. I figured she'd go where her car was to her best friend's or her mom's, and I've been over to both. Talked to her dad, and I just haven't heard anything from anybody knowing this.
Okay. Does she go to, like, have a job that she needs to be out that she missed or anything like that? Not
today. She has work tomorrow at Aubrey Dental.
Okay. And any diagnosed mental or physical health issues?
No.
However, Julie told police Kaylee had a history of epilepsy, suggesting she was an at-risk person. This meant that the police might treat her case with urgency rather than waiting a day or two for Kaylee to return of her own accord.
Dispatch, how can I help you?
Yes, I need to have an officer call me. My daughter is missing, and she is over 23, but she has epilepsy and some medical issues.
In fact, Kaylee had had just one seizure many years earlier, and the condition was well managed. But Julie felt no guilt about exaggerating. She knew in her gut that something sinister had happened to her daughter. The first 48 hours are the most critical for locating a missing person. Julie's mother's instinct told her something was very wrong. As the search for Kaylee Sawyer continued, Julie would sadly be proven right. The police talked to Kaylee's family, friends, and Cameron. As her boyfriend and someone who had rowed with Kaylee the night of her disappearance, Cam was under the spotlight. But officers soon ruled him out. Lieutenant Devin Lewis believed that Cam truly had no idea where she was. Next, they spoke to the stranger Kaylee had danced with in the bar. Had she snuck back to meet him after her fight with Cameron? It was a tantalizing theory. The man admitted to flirting with Kaylee, but he insisted he hadn't seen her again after she left the bar. With no leads and no firm suspects, the police were stumped. Perhaps Kaylee's disappearance really was her own choice. Was she taking a few days away
Where the
to
fuck is my
figure
mouse?
things
There
out
it
as
is.
she'd told her father? The test, they decided, would be to wait and see if she showed up for work the next day. Dedicated to her job as a dental assistant, if Kaylee had missed a day, the police and her loved ones could be sure that she was in trouble. As the morning of Monday the 25th
It's a pretty
of July
shitty theory,
dawned,
like.
so did the horrible realization that Kaylee was still missing. That very same morning, another Oregon woman woke up to a horrifying revelation. Isabel Ponce Lara was a rookie cop who had spent an ordinary weekend with her husband, Edwin Lara. Lara was a security guard for Central Oregon Community College. He'd got home in the early hours of Sunday morning from working his night shift as a campus safety officer. They went to church together, where he seemed quiet and showed her less affection than normal. She asked him what was wrong, but he didn't explain. She guessed it was just the normal stress from work and didn't question him further. They stopped by Pizza Hut and watched Netflix at home. Then he suggested they go out to see a movie in Bend. The only strange detail she noticed, other than him being withdrawn, was that he had the windows on the car cracked open.
This whole time up to when you're going to the movie, anything stand out to you?
You know what I just thought about right now? He had the windows cracked open and he never did that.
Okay.
And I asked him about that and he said, oh, it's hot.
The next day, however, things changed. She suspected nothing wrong until he disrupted their morning routine. He painted a vivid picture of guilt and panic, describing to his wife a horrific accident. He claimed that he accidentally hit a woman with his campus security car. He had panicked and had hidden her body. Isabel was confused. Why would someone hide the evidence of a tragic accident? After he had confessed to his wife, Edwin took her service weapon and drove off, leaving her to worry that he might do something to hurt himself. At 11:52 a.m. on Monday, July 25th, she took her fears to the police. Following up on Edwin's claims, the police searched the couple's property. They discovered a trash bag of female belongings in Laura's shed, just as he told Isabel. These included a green purse soaked in blood, containing an ID card belonging to none other than missing woman Kaylee Sawyer. They also found bloodied clumps of blonde hair and a rock, also stained with blood. The police already had reason to doubt Laura's story, as his wife had. One lieutenant said, "Some people leave the scene of accidents because they're scared, but they return a short time later," or something like that. But that's not what Ed did. And here in Laura's shed was evidence to suggest his car was not all that he'd hit Kaylee with. The red-stained rock was bagged as a potential murder weapon, and the disappearance of Kaylee Sawyer had suddenly become a murder inquiry. The main suspect was nowhere to be found, but in the shed was further evidence of the macabre and troubled mind that could have committed such a crime. Lara had studied criminal justice. Propped against the wall of the shed was a college psychology project, a graphic informational poster on the Railroad Killer. The Railroad Killer was a Mexican serial killer active in the 1990s. He was a drifter hopping trains to avoid detection as he murdered at least 15 people across the United States and Mexico. Lara's poster was smeared with red paint to mimic blood spatter and handprints, along with graphic images of victims' bodies. The Railroad Killer's weapon of choice was whatever came closest to hand, including heavy rocks. It was a chilling parallel with the way police now believed Kaylee Sawyer might have died, and a hint of her suspected killer's fascination with murder. Police returned to Isabel to learn more about Edwin Lara's character. They asked if he was a drinker, had anger issues, or had ever been violent. She told them that she and her husband had stopped drinking when they went back to church and that Lara had never been violent towards her. However, Lara had been having an affair. He had family in California and had been seeing a woman there while Isabel was in the police academy. According to Isabel, he had begged for her forgiveness and they were working through it. Lara's co-workers told a more sinister story. At work, in security at the community college, he had showed nude photos of himself and his mistress to his colleagues and reportedly had a fascination with dead bodies. This made one female cadet so uncomfortable that she refused to ride in a car with him. Isabel, however, wanted to keep him close.
Sounds like a winner.
After she learned about the affair, she went on several ride-alongs with Lara at his work. He usually drove around alone in the campus security car. He showed his wife areas around town that were out of the way, hidden from public view. He knew the back roads of the area intimately. By this point, the police knew that they were looking for Kaylee's body, And with this new information, it was clear he could have hidden her anywhere. It was a lead on locating her remains. But even more urgent was finding the killer himself, and the police had no idea where he could have fled to. Edwin Lara knew he was in trouble. The story he had told Isabel was not holding up, and even if the police had believed it, he'd still be guilty of a crime. He went on the run, and his desperate attempts to remain free led to a crime spree that sowed terror across 2 states. The first person to fall victim to Lara's murderous desperation was 19-year-old Andrea Mays. Andrea was working at a Ross Dress for Less in Salem, Oregon, a town a few hours northeast of Bend. At 8:45 p.m. after a 12-hour shift, she got into her car and relaxed for a moment on social media.
I remember this case, but
She
like
took
I've
a
never seen
selfie
one
to
go into
post
so
on
much detail.
Snapchat and was reading a Facebook message from a friend when Edwin Lara decided to make her his next victim. Edwin was armed with his wife's gun, carrying a backpack, and wearing a bulletproof vest. He shoved his arm through the open window of Andrea's car and demanded that she take him where he wanted to go at gunpoint. Fearing for her life, she had no choice but to do as he said. He told her he had been waiting in the parking lot for a while, waiting for a woman he could carjack. He had spoken to a pregnant woman who had brushed him off, boasting to Andrea, "Little does she know what I could have done to her." He claimed to be a cop, telling Andrea, "I don't know if you heard what happened to the girl I just killed." Gone was the tearful demeanor he had displayed for his wife. His violence was now a source of notoriety and even pride. After an hour, Lara told Andrea to pull over because she was driving too fast. He handcuffed her to the gear shift and drove himself, terrified that he would be stopped for speeding. They continued for several hours until they reached a motel in Southern Oregon. He forced her to pretend to be his girlfriend, holding her hand, threatening that he'd kill both her and the motel clerk if she didn't act as though everything was fine. She'd visibly begun crying, but the motel clerk noticed nothing wrong and allowed them to check in to the motel. In the motel room, he handcuffed her to the bed frame and forced her to swallow sleeping pills. She tried her hardest to stay awake, terrified that he would assault her while she slept. Suddenly, her phone alarm sounded. Lara panicked, sure someone was calling Andrea to find out where she was. She thought quickly. She told him she had an STI and that the alarm was to remind her to take her medication. After that, he didn't touch her. But he did become increasingly paranoid about helicopters being sent to find him. He left the motel, taking Andrea with him as a human shield. She was out in the open once again, but was Andrea any safer from assault or even murder at the hands of her abductor? They were soon to meet Edwin Lara's third victim. Andrea's car was leaking oil, so Lara decided they needed to steal a new one. In the parking lot of a new motel in Wairika, California, a wildlife
Super 8.
photographer named Jack Levy was loading up his car. He was in the area to take photographs of butterflies. With his hostage Andrea in tow, Lara burst into Levy's room, demanding the man's car keys, but Levy refused, instead yelling for help. Desperate to avoid detection and with nothing left to lose, Edwin Lara shot Levy in the abdomen. As Levy fell to the ground, Lara fled with Andrea, dragging her on foot to a nearby gas station. In need of new wheels to continue his getaway, Lara targeted a family parked there. 17-year-old Nima Gavimi and his grandmother and younger brother. Lara threw Andrea into the car and then carjacked Nima at gunpoint, saying, "Drive or I'll shoot." Nima, scared for the lives of himself and his family, drove. As they drove, Lara engaged his victims in a bizarre conversation. He asked them if they had ever had an urge to kill. He blamed his own urge for what he'd done. 15 minutes later, he released the terrified family, though Andrea remained in his grasp. His behavior became increasingly erratic, and it was at this moment when Edwin Lara abandoned any pretense of anonymity for the crimes he had committed. He recorded Facebook Live video in which he bragged about his crimes.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say that I apologize for everything I've done. Most likely, I'm going to get caught. sorry about that girl in Central Oregon. And I just want to let family members, Andrea, that she's fine and she will be fine because so far she's been doing what I've been told her to do. You know, and if you guys are wondering if I have done dirty things to her, no. All right, I'm not that kind of guy. You know, I used to kill that other girl, you know, and I regret it. You know, she kept screaming and I was telling her forever. So, you know, like I say, she's still fine. We're driving and she'll be home pretty soon. I'm sorry to her grandma and her family members, to her boyfriend. You know, I'm sorry for everything that I caused. Okay, and you'll see her pretty soon. Okay, tell the cops that not to shoot us, because if they shoot us, then that's not my fault. Okay, so sorry everybody. Bye.
He
I
told
wonder what the
Andrea
fuck's
to
going
post
through
it
these
on her
people's
own
brains, you
Facebook
know?
profile. Embarrassed about the terrifying situation she had found herself
This guy, like, I think he's just doing it because he thinks he's gonna be famous or some shit.
in, she managed to change the privacy settings and posted it so no one could see it. But this was not all. He also called Isabel his wife, and they spoke in Spanish. According to Andrea, it sounded like Isabel was trying to convince him to turn himself in. Having ended the call speeding at 100 miles per hour on the interstate, it was at this point that Lara called 911 to turn himself in. The operator tried to convince him to stop the car immediately, but he was reluctant.
911 emergency reporting.
Yes, hi. This is Edwin Lara, and I'm the guy on Interstate 5, going at high speed. I know you guys have the chopper on me already.
Yeah.
Yo, Eric, what you saying, buddy?
You know, I am wanted for murder in the state of Oregon.
Okay. Edwin,
Yeah.
where are you at right now? Can you stop?
I am going to stop once I hit Reading. Once I'm in Reading, I'm going to stop.
Are you by yourself or?
No, I have someone with me. I kidnapped her in Oregon. She's innocent. Her name is Andrea. I'm not going to stop right here. I'm just going to turn myself in Corning. But I want to ask you a favor.
Uh-huh.
So I have asthma.
You have asthma? Okay.
Yeah, so you tell them not to be too rough on me because, you know, I can barely breathe right now. All right.
What you been up to, Eric?
That's all I wanted to say. You know, I don't want
any kind of medical or?
Yeah, well, I think so. I'm going to need my inhaler. I forgot my inhaler at home.
Edwin, how fast are you going?
I'm going about 120 miles an hour right
about
now.
120 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Can you slow down?
Well, I want to make it there quick. That way I can turn myself in.
Well, the officer sees you with it. We just don't want you to speed away from anything. If you can stop and just give yourself in, it'll probably be easier.
Well, there's an officer behind me right now.
Okay, they see you. We're talking to him. They see you.
Yeah, she's seeing me. I think it's a she. She's right behind me.
Okay. The officer sees you, and are you able to safely stop?
Yeah, I can stop, but not right now. I'll stop in Corning.
What's the difference from stopping now in Corning?
I just don't want to stop right here in the middle of the road, you know, putting myself in danger and putting everybody else in danger, more in danger, I guess.
You know, they won't. They're aware. I'll let them know they won't. But if you can stop safely, they just don't want you to run. They think you're trying to run or anything.
Okay.
Edwin, do you have any weapons with you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I do have a gun on me. I am not going to flash the gun, so you tell them not to shoot me.
Okay.
No, I don't want to die.
Okay, you stick by your word, though. I'll let them know.
Yeah, I'm going to let them know. You know, don't hurt Andrea. You know, she's a nice girl. You know, don't hurt her. I'm actually calling my family just to say bye to them. So once I'm done calling all my family, then I'll turn myself in.
Okay, we can get a hold of your family if you want.
I already called my wife. I called a lot of people already. I am wanted for the death of Kaylee Sawyer at Bend, Oregon. I just want to say that it was an accident. So I work for Campus Public Safety there, and she was really drunk, and I didn't see her, and I run her over.
Okay.
And then after that, you know, I just, she was still breathing, and then she was screaming, and I decided to silence her forever. Just, you know, I know this is being recorded, and, you know, I just want to say to the family of Kaylee that, you know, I am sorry. I'm sorry for what I did to her, and in time I will tell them where the body is. You know, I will just, that way she can rest in peace. You know.
Do you want to let me know, or just have this recorded where it is?
No, I remember.
Okay.
So, I mean, hopefully the police officer doesn't shoot me, you know, and I'll survive, you know.
Yeah.
He tried to use both Andrea and his knowledge of Kaylee's whereabouts as leverage to protect himself.
Hello? Yeah, hi, Andrea. Are you okay? You don't need any medical or anything?
No.
Okay, so Edwin, where's his gun at? Does he have it still between his legs?
I don't know.
Can you see it? He said he had it between his legs. Is he stopping?
Yeah.
He is stopping?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, make sure your hands are up too and stuff. I know you're on the phone right now, but just hold your hand up so they can see your hands too.
Okay.
I'm going to stay on the line with you until the officers get there, okay? And you're going to be okay. Andrea?
Mm-hmm.
Does he have his hands up?
Yeah.
He does have his hands up? Okay. Just tell him to make sure that the officers...
Hey, tell him I can't.
He said he can't hear her.
Do I get out, or do I?
Tell him we're letting the officers know that he can't hear her.
He's already walking towards them.
He's walking towards him. Tell him to make sure he holds his hands up.
Yeah, he is.
He is. Tell him to turn around and don't walk towards him. He can walk backwards towards him.
I can't. He's too far.
Okay. And if you want to do the same, once he gets out and stuff, just turn around and walk backwards towards him. Don't walk facing them.
Okay. Do I stay on the line with you?
Once you get out, I'll go ahead and disconnect the line. Once you get out, can you see, do they have him in custody already?
They're putting the cuffs on him right now.
Putting the cuffs on him?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to hang up and just get out, and you walk backwards towards him with your hands up, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Andrea, it's going to be okay.
Finally, the operator convinced him that the police would not hurt him. So he stopped his car, and at 7:01 a.m. Tuesday, July 26th, he was taken into custody. After a terrifying crime spree across 2 states and nearly 24 hours, 5 of his 6 victims were alive to tell the tale. Jack Levy was in hospital in critical condition, but he would go on to make a full recovery. Kaylee Sawyer had not been so lucky. Now that Laura was in custody, the police's first priority was to find out where she was and what exactly had happened to her. Laura's associate degree in criminal justice meant he was familiar with the law, and so detectives expected that he would be uncooperative. However, he agreed. His pride in what he had done, despite the supposed guilt he'd shown on the 911 call, remained. What followed was an interview lasting a horrifying 6 hours, as Laura twisted and manipulated the truth to detectives before finally, disturbingly, admitting the evil he'd done. First, the detectives asked him where they could find Kaylee's body.
We have not been able to find Kaylee's body. Can you please help me find her body immediately before we start talking about anything else? The reason why I'm asking you that is I've done this a bunch of times.
I want to tell you where the body is.
Yeah.
I do. But I want to get on first.
Okay. So here's what I know about this. Hear me out, sir. We can't change what happened, the 3 of us in this room. And people will care more about what happens right now than what happened before. So
Not true at all.
you've been talking to some people, et cetera, right? And because we have different jurisdictions, I can assure you that right now the DA's office is working on allowing us to take you back to Oregon, okay? But they're still working on that, okay? So in the meantime, we need to consider some things, okay? If this information gets to other people, that you were like, hell yeah, I'm gonna tell you, but only until I get what I want, they might try to think of this about something different than what it is.
They worked to gain his trust.
'Cause I don't think you're a bad guy, right? I think that things have spun completely out of control, sir. Sir, am I right? Okay. But that being said, you know from your training and your education that we have a massive load of resources right now dedicated to one thing, and that's to serve the victim's family, okay? And they need that, and they need that right now. And so I need you to remember that it doesn't matter so much about what happened, it's what you do now.
Yeah. And you know this, man.
Finally, he indicated the location on a map. Police sped toward the scene, and on July 26th, 2 days after she went missing, the body of Kaylee Sawyer was discovered beside a highway in Oregon.
A tragic update to bring to you tonight in the disappearance of Bend resident Kaylee Sawyer. Police now say they found a body and they believe that to be Sawyer's body. Now, Edwin Lara has been arrested yesterday in connection with this. Edwin Lara is a 31-year-old Redmond resident currently employed at COCC working as a part-time campus public safety officer. We've recently learned that Lara's wife, Isabel Pons Lara, as I mentioned, is a Bend police officer who yesterday morning reported her husband's potential involvement in this.
At the medical examiner's office, it was determined she had been killed by blunt force trauma. The condition of her body was so horrific that the police advised her family not to look at the autopsy photos. In a car Lara had abandoned in Salem moments before kidnapping Andrea, the police discovered 2 notes. In chilling handwriting, Lara had described where he had killed her and written another note that read, "This note is to say I'm sorry for taking her life. To her dad, I'm sorry. To her mom, I'm sorry. It was an accident." She screamed and I had to silence her. My intention was not forever. To my wife, I'm sorry. I will forever love you. The evidence painted a conflicting picture. He was unquestionably guilty of murder, but he was displaying pride as well as remorse for what he had done. The answers lay in Lara's police interview. First, he maintained the story he had told his wife, that he'd accidentally hit Kaylee, who was drunk.
You know, I was in a hurry because I wanted to get out of here. And I was going to turn south on College Way on the B4 lot. So I was going to turn south on the area there. And I didn't see her. She was wearing all black. So I was in a hurry, so it was my fault. And I wasn't expecting anybody, you know, at that time of night. So I just turned and I mean, I didn't hit her that hard. I just bumped her with the patrol car, bumped her with the front rack, and she fell down. And at first I thought, you know, first thing I was, oh, I killed her, you know, but I didn't hit her that hard.
Hi.
Hi. Do you need in the bathroom at all?
Nope.
Rocky up here?
Number
Yes.
41 on
Look in my
Sunday.
feet.
Not good.
A couple of years ago, I made a video on this channel called My Plan to Quit Streaming. And in that video, I talked about how I started a company called Off-Brand with the idea of making events for not just myself, but other creators. And that company was mostly made up of former Beyond the Summit employees. Unfortunately, yesterday we had to announce that we were closing down the production side of Off-Brand. We released a
Not a
statement that I'm going to
surprise.
read verbatim because it's pretty well written. When we started Off-Brand, our plan was to help creators bring their ideas to life. For many creators, we did that, and we're proud of everything we helped create. Our people worked hard, and we made amazing content. We failed to make the events business sustainable. And as a result, we made
He's saying they didn't make enough money.
decision to shut down that side of the business. Off-Brand Games isn't going anywhere, and I'm going to keep making events through Mogul Moves. But we want to thank everyone who supported and watched the events we helped produce. If you're looking for talented folks in production, please check out. We have a sheet that has a lot of the people listed. I've already had a lot of people personally reach out interested. So if you're hiring, reach out fast. I would love if you did that. Now, this video is absolutely not to garner sympathy in any way, shape, or form, but it is more so to answer questions about how we got to this point, and then some just general like misinformation.
No, it's definitely to garner sympathy. And make a little bit of money off the situation. Why it didn't work is Pretty evident, you know? It didn't make money. Because if it was making money, it would still be doing it. Rocky. Hey. Hey. Come on. Come here. Come on. Come on up. Come on up. Rocky. Come here. You fucking little schmuck. Well, I'm gonna go watch some Sopranos, I guess. Like it, nothing to watch. Sean, rip a toke with me, bud. If you're still here.